Well, hello, Merlin. But in common with Joe, you might wonder why I look like this. Because I'm 62. And as I was coming in, I heard a lady say, that silly old sod with a shit shirt on. It was just my wife pointing out who was her husband. And I, in common with Joe, have not got a mobility scooter, but unlike her, not much vibrating going on, so. This is what we call craft comedy, not an act, as you will be hearing from other people later on, because it's craft comedy, can't remember a thing. So, but luckily, it's all written on a bit of card, so we'll get by one way or another. Obviously, at my age, I spend quite a bit of time at the doctor. But ill health's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks. Working welfare, do you? Anyway, I was down the doctor's the other day. The doctor said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Oh, a bit of bowel trouble." He said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Well, you know." He said, "You're not regular?" I said, "Oh, yeah. Regular as clockwork every morning, 6:30. 6:30? He said, "What on earth time do you wake up?" I said, "Generally speaking, shortly afterwards." There was an old fella in there while I was in there. Actually in Worthing, I don't feel quite so old. There's an old fella in there, and he went up to the receptionist, and she said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "I've got a bit of trouble with my dick." And she said, "No, shh. Oh, that's funny as well." You wait till you hear the cancer jokes. So she said, no, you don't come in here like that, because all the people in the reception can hear what you're saying. You say, "I've got a bit of trouble with my ear." And he said, oh, right. "I've got a bit of trouble with my ear." And she said, "What's the matter with your ear?" He said, "Can't piss out of it." You're always looking for things to do when you retire. Supermarkets are a good place to start. We were in the supermarket. We have Asda's up near us. Do you have Asda's down here? Or is it more Lidl's? Asda's. Asda's is like Lidl's, but for posh people. And they have what they call a greeter when you go into Asda's. Fella stands, or lady of course, stands inside the door and welcomes people to the store, and if he can or she can assist them, directs them where they want to go. I thought, I'll go that. They only wanted somebody on a Monday. So I got the job, started on the Monday, go in there. Very, very easy. People come in, "Excuse me, can you tell me where?" "Yes, over there." "Can you tell me?" "Yes, over there." Then in came this horrible, fat as you like, the old Croydon facelift, hair tied tightly at the back, big hooped earrings, loads of tattoos, fatter than me, bit of a bare midriff job going on, two horrible little kids all snot running down their faces. And she's chasing them about, and she said, "Oh, oi," she said, "where's the burgers?" I said, "The burgers, madam, in row 11 on the left, you'll find them just down there." She said, "Come on, you little bastards." I said, "Excuse me, madam, are those twins?" She said, "Twins? You silly old sod." She said, "The girl's 3 and the boy's nearly 8. What on earth makes you think they're twins?" She said, "Well, madam," I said, "Well, madam, in my wildest dreams, I cannot imagine anyone wanting to shake you more than once." My stepdaughter phoned up the other day. She's been having a few tests. You find this funny? She's dead now. No, she's not. No, she's not. I haven't done this before, interaction with this. It's a good this, I'm enjoying this. What's your name? Sorry? Kyle. Yes. As in? K-A-Y-O. Oh, Kyle, not K-Y-L-E, as in South Park. No, okay. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, no, that was a joke. Oh, it's all jokes, isn't it? It's supposed to be. Hey, they put the shit act on first. You know that, don't you? Imagine how good the top one's going to be. I forgot. Oh yeah. So she phoned up. She said, "It's bad news. I've been to the doctors. I've got the big C." I said, "You don't mean?" She said, "Yes. Dyslexia." I phoned my mate up the other day. police are coming. Oh, thanks for laughing. I phoned my mate up the other day, and his little daughter answered the phone. And I said, hello Laura, is Daddy there? She said, he's busy. I said, okay, can I speak to Mummy please? She said, she's busy too. I said, is there anybody else there, Laura? She said, there's a policeman here and a police lady. I said, can I speak to the policeman? He's busy. I said, can I speak to the policeman? He's busy too. I said, what on earth are they all busy doing? She said, looking for me. I said to my wife the other day, I said, if I was to die, would you get married again? She said, well, if you die in the near future, oh, you'll find this funny. If you die in the near future, yes, probably I would get married again. I said, I don't like the idea of that. She said, well, it would be nothing to do with you. I said, well, where are you going to live? She said, well, obviously in this house. I said, my house. She said, well, it wouldn't be your house, it would come. I said, I still don't like the idea of it. I said, where are you going to sleep? She said, well, obviously in the bedroom with the ensuite toilet and bathroom. I said, my bedroom? It's not your bedroom anymore. I said, can you break it to me gently, where are you actually going to sleep? She said, well, we've only just bought the new mattress in the big bed. I said, bloody hell. I said, you'll be telling me he's using my golf clubs next? She said, not really, he's left-handed. I was talking to my mate the other day, he said, he was having a bit of a, with twins. I said, what, both at the same time? He said, no, separately. I said, do they know? He said, no, neither of them's got a clue about the other one. You actually hear the backstory. And I said, how can you tell them apart? He said, well, quite easily, really. Sharon's got long blonde hair, and Eric's got a big bushy moustache. We travelled quite a bit, being retired, and we went to Cork. And we got a bit lost in Cork, and I stopped this fellow, I said, excuse me, I said, can you tell me the way to Dublin? He said, would you be walking or driving? Irish accent. I said, we're driving. He said, that's the quickest way. we were over in Calais, went over for a day trip, get a load of wine and beer. And we went in this little bar, French bar, but the bloke spoke perfect English. And there were two English blokes sitting at the bar, and this French bloke, he said, excuse me, he said, can you not sit quite so close together? And they said, well, we'd love not to sit quite so close together, but we're Siamese twins, we're joined at the hip. Not a medical problem. The Frenchman was embarrassed, and he said, oh, I'm really sorry. He said, please, let me give you a bottle of French red wine on the house. I'm so embarrassed, I'm sorry. He said, no, we don't like red wine, French red wine. And he said, okay, I'll give you moule frites. He said, mussels cooked in garlic and wine with French fried potatoes. And he said, well, we don't like mussels, and we don't like garlic, and we don't like French fried potatoes. He said, how about some French bread and French biscuits and French cheese? He said, we don't like French cheese, French biscuits, French bread. He said, you've come to France, you don't like the wine, you don't like the mussels, you don't like the garlic, you don't like the cheese. He said, what earth have you come to France for? He said, to be perfectly honest, he said, it just gives him a chance to have a drive of the car. We'll consult the Oracle, see if we can find something else you'd likely to like. Not really. I can tell you about the little gypsy boy. I'll tell you that. How are we doing, Joe? You all right?
You're all right, darling. Okay. Crack on.
Oh, no, good. We'll tell you about the gypsy boy then. Came home from school, Dad said, how'd you get on at school, son? He said, brilliant, Dad. He said, we did counting today. He said, I got up to 11. Most any of the other kids got up to was 7. He said, good boy, good gypsy boy, son, good boy. Next day he said, how'd you get on, son? He said, we done the alphabet today, Dad. He said, got all the way up to M. Nobody got past G in the rest of the class. He said, good boy, good gypsy boy, son. Next day he said, how'd you get on today? He said, oh, brilliant, Dad, we had PE. He said, I absolutely rang rings around him. He said, there's nothing, not one of them anything like me. He said, but tell me, Dad, he said, I was in the showers afterwards, right? He said, and I was having a look, and he said, all the other boys, they got like tiny little willies like that, and I've got a great big willy like that. He said, is that because I'm a good old gypsy boy, Dad? He said, no, son, it's probably because you're 27. What should we tell you about? I'll tell you about my mate who was a policeman. He stopped this bloke for speeding and the bloke was absolutely outrageous and he said, have you really got nothing to do, you arse? He said, I'm an arse, am I? He said, you are an arse, mate. He said, I'll tell you what, if I see you and you're not working, I'm going to give you a good idea. He said, oh, well, fine, he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a ticket. He said, let me just write something on it. And he wrote AH on it. And the bloke said, what's that for? He said, well, in case you go to court, it'll remind me that you're an arsehole. He said, oh, am I? We'll see you in court then. So he went to court. And the policeman started giving evidence. And the solicitor said to him, is this a ticket, officer? He said, yes. He said, you've written an AMMH on the ticket, haven't you? He said, I have, sir. He said, and the reason you wrote that on there is because my client's an arsehole, isn't it? He said, well, I wrote it on there because he was aggressive and hostile, but you know him a lot better than me. Just tell you about my first wife and then I'll be gone. My first wife was very temperamental, half temper, half mental. And you never knew where you were with her. So I bought her one of those mood rings that tells you what sort of mood they're in. What are they? Opals, is it opals? And when they're calm and relaxed, they're green. And when she wasn't calm and relaxed, she used to put a fucking great red mark on my forehead. Looking back, I wish I bought her a diamond. I'll just tell you one more joke that will really appeal to you. When I was in the hospital, I was lying in there and there's another fella lying in there. We looked at each other and the bloke went, and I went, and he went, and I went, and he said, cancer. And I went, Sagittarius. I think you've had enough excitement for one night. Just remember, if ever you should fart in an echo chamber, you'll never really end it. My name's Bob Ferris. Thank you very much indeed.
That's it, Mr. Bob Ferris.